Good evening, everybody, and I was expecting to be. I'm Callum, Hosty, and welcome to the Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. And as you may have gathered, I'm very glad to be here with you tonight to present another episode of this Fangio season. Round number 5 already. Got down 4 races. Who's going to win the 5th? This will be one fascinating night. We've got quite a few newbies tonight, on top of your usual regulars. So, here we go. If you are in the chat, don't be afraid to say hi. I can see. So, let's go for it. Let's go for it indeedy do. Here we go into the lobby itself. As we currently only have 14 drivers, but we're expecting a full grid. And I will just go through the championship as it stands right now while you are waiting. So we currently have, after the Belgian Grand Prix, we have AMS Casper in lead with 189 points. AMS Godwin in second with 150. Misfits in third with 117. Fuse Demon with 116 in fourth. Robert Snipes is in fifth with 106 points. AMS Apple is sixth with 104 points. AMS Axel is seventh with 90 points. The defending champion, already 99 points behind. He's got to find something to try and catch his fellow Swedish teammate. AMS Trap, who's not here tonight, he's 8th with 70 points. Misfits, by the way, will be joining in qualifying. That's just point to mind. Then we have AMS Joss in 9th with 68 points. Mass Spread in 10th with 67 points. Depris Salmon in 11th with 53 points. Owen CFC 18 with 50 points. Speed Freak in 13th with 24 points. Andy Pitt Smith in 14th with 20 points. PRF1 Callum, who won't be able to make it tonight, the beloved owner of this league, 15th with 10 points. And that is that. And in the constructors, we have Sabre in the lead with 279 points. Ryder with 223 in second. Racing Bulls in third in 218. Haas fourth with 174. Red Bull fifth with 140. Aston Martin in sixth with 135. Mercedes in seventh with 79. Alpine 8th, having only took part in one race so far, where they finished with 58. Williams in 9th, only one race with a classified finish, which was Azerbaijan. They're in 9th with 30. McLaren also have 30 points in 10th, but on countback are dead last by having, because this is realistic performance, may I remind you, the fastest car of them all. So, we may as well go on board with the Dark Lord, get everything ready, and soon we will go for a lap round the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Named after the Rodriguez brothers, the very, 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 very early Mexican drivers who put Mexico on the map in motorsport, as Amos kept saying, reigning Q3 in the Twitch chats. Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting. Anyway, time to see Darla 93. We're going to go on board with him, making his second race here, as he applies the battery and Diaz as he heads towards turn number 1. It is a huge main straight. But man, in the current F1 calendar, it's the longest run to turn 1. Maybe not the scariest. I still think that's any Grand Prix held at Monza. Pursue 2 and 3. That's not looking too bad, the McLaren, actually. Looks like he's got quite a bit of grip. Grip can be quite tricky here, can be at a premium. But do you know what? That's not looking too bad. Got the rear rotated almost too well there. 3, 4, 5. And now into 6 and 7. Looking good. Right about turn 8. It's not looking bad. Through the S's. I'll say it looks a very good setup. Is he running high winds? That has to be the question. I'm hoping not. Anyway, into turn number 12. Bit deep there, that hence the understeer. Now 313. Nicely on the apex. 314. Traction is very difficult to achieve. 15, then into 16. Half the peril target. Through 17. And the time that Darla sets is 116.43. Not quite Amos Gordon's 15.880 they set so far. 7, what can the Spaniard set? It's 116.597. Oh, in CFC 18, the next one to cross the line, and he will set a 170.080. Now on board with Speed Freak as the Red Bull joins sector number 3. AMS Apple has now joined the lobby itself as he does Jibby double duty tonight. He's been racing elsewhere. Very committed to the cause. I suppose you can do that if Speed Freak has invalidated his sign. That's a shame. Andrew Pittsmith is about to start a lap. This is where we got our natural. Enjoy Andrew Pittsmith taking you around Dr. Drummer Hermanos Rodriguez. I think we're going to scrap that because Andrew Pittsmith has backed out. He clearly didn't enjoy that first sector. We'll go with AMS Axel soon. Right, let's go with AMS Casper. Let him take you through the rest of the lap. And he'll take over Andrew Pittsmith. Suck off. Just casually setting the fastest lap of the session, 15.602. What about the defending champion, AMS Axel? 99 points behind already. With Batman, it's 50 for a win. Fuse Demon has called it quits. He's coming with that 16.2, 6.8 in the Red Bull. So from one Swede in the Sauber to the other, this will probably have a bit more of a chat about. AMS Axel, 28-0 first sector. Allegedly purple, I'm not so sure about that. You know what this game's like. Now, heading into turn 6. By the way, it's not 6 and 7, it's just 6. My bad. We've actually now got myself a track map up. The run down towards turn 10, using a bit of battery there. And here we are, through the S's. Can he hold it flat all the way through? Slight breather into 10 and 11. He looks very committed to say this is the slowest car in the game with realistic performance. Allegedly, he's gone purple. A lot of scrubbing to 12 to try and get that car to behave. And flicking it very hard through 13, 14, and 15. Now into 16. What can the defending champion produce? 15.84. He's looking a bit more on it than he has been recently, AMS Axel. It's been a tricky start for him, as we said. So, I mean, 99 points behind with 50 on the table. 2 race wins behind after 4 rounds. I mean, missing a race, having difficulties in all the others. But he does have a point to prove. In the Midweek Madness League yesterday, if you saw my stream and my point of view, we don't mention the crash. He did end up being involved with Andrew Pittsmith. Obviously, that is still up for discussion with the stewards there. But the wing was easily there. Then sped under the safety car Delta. And then it all just collapsed from there, as we now have 15 of AMS Apple joining the lobby proper, having selected his car. Robo Snacks! What kind of pride will be? You can really tell when someone's on a wheel, just the way they can just scrub the wheel in turning and flick it. Almost reminiscent of how Fernando Alonso mastered the Renaults on those Michelin tyres in the mid-noughties, which powered into 2 World Championships. Can't believe his World Championships are 21 and 20 years ago. Where has time gone? Feels like yesterday. Purple Sector 2 allegedly, I mean. But let's not believe the game with a Purple Sector 2. Now, we are likely to see no dead rubber here, because we are likely to see Misfits hit join as well. He has up until the end of Q1 because, of course, the cars and the way they allocate. You never know how they can hang out. Anyway, it is a 16.280 for Homicides, and he goes P6. XW Low _1 Dynamo. Easy to abandon their invalidated lap. Oh, it's easy for me to say. FC 18. We'll go with them next, I suppose. As they head down towards turn number 4. Scrubbing. I think they're definitely a pad play from there. That looks reminiscent of a pad player. Takes one to know them. But still flicking it through. Balancing that throttle to try and get the rear rotated through 6 and into 7. This looks very tentative. It doesn't look that quick. I could be wrong. But I get a sense he's running very high winds. Just looking at the speeds that he's setting, they don't look impressive. But there are strategies around here. Do you go low winds and get that straight line speed to be hard to battle? Or do you go high winds and be absolutely dynamite through that middle sector? As Orange FC 18 dances through into the Peraltada. And pits, of course, just to make me look stupid. I mean, someone say went after definitely not purple sector 1 for Speed Freak there. But now, as the white Red Bull heads into turn 6, if you have not seen this, let me have you not homage to Honda as Red Bull Honda passed away 2025, and that was used in a Japanese Grand Prix in real life. And it's a race that you could have won by, I think it was in survival mode in this game earlier in the cycle. It's a shame. If you haven't got it, it's a shame because I begrudgingly admit it's quite nice. He's really looking a bit more on it this lap in his white Red Bull. So many colours in one sentence there. As he heads through the Peraltada. Well, what's left of it on the F1 circuit. Anyway, please bring it back in 4 with some safer barriers. And it's P9 speaker 116.601. Now, Amos Apple. What's he got for us? As he's running an absolutely gorgeous helmet there, which I sense is because he's running halfway through. The Berman helmet. Oh, I do love that. Out of the British drivers, it's either him or Lando's helmet, which I just like the best. And I've got to pick between 5 this season in real life. 5 British drivers. We're not too bad at making them, are we? With 11 world champions and 21 world championships between them all. Heading towards the finish line goes AMS Apple, and that's 1:15.665. Quite quick, and Haas goes P2, splitting the Swedish Salvers. Andrew Pitt Smith, as he about to set representative time, he stays where he is, though, despite saying 1:17.345. Now, LOL _1 Dylan up. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. We'll just go with LOL for now. Just go, oh, Loy. I think it's Loy, actually. We'll go with Loy. Into turn 1 with Loy. It's looking a bit steady at it as Misfit is confirming. He's coming into the lobby now. Through turn 3 with Loy. In the Williams. It's a, I gotta say, not the quickest first section we've seen. He keeps trying to give purples to everybody. This game, if only we had to survive it for one more year. Oh no. Anyway, let's back the game. Let's get serious. Heading into turn number 7. He's looking a little bit, I'm gonna say, just looks steady Eddie. And I don't think the front necessarily gripping it. Just like there's a lot of scrub in that Williams. It might be a setup choice, just might be a driving style. I can't quite tell. But 96, that's a good number, by the way. Good number. I was born in 1996. That's probably why I'm saying it. Anyway, into the last half of the Peraltada. Where can Loy stick the Williams? He goes P40, 1:17.457. Now, Master Red, who hasn't set a time, will go with the beloved head of the division. In the Aston Martin. He's won PRF1 championships before. He's won championships elsewhere before. What can he make of his Fangio season? Can he get it nice and kick-started and get a few more points than he has done this season? I'm sure he wanted more. But let's see what he's got as he heads out of 15 and into the second half of the Peraltada. On the power, Merc power kicking in because it is 2025. At least it is with the cars, and that's 1:16.349, 16 P8. Interesting. Big Woods making their debut tonight. A driver I've seen a bit before in the Pure Formula Racing League, which I briefly took part in. decent, competent driver. Can hold their own. Don't necessarily expect him to be dead weight. He will show some good potential. You watch. I guess now we look with Owen CFC18. I guess we are to what now, sort of looking towards the bottom of the times, and there aren't too many cars out yet. I wonder if any of the top runners will come out again, or if they think they've done enough. But I do sense a lot of them are safe. And here we are. Owen CFC18, a 21.34 sector one. That's tiny bit of a few hundredths up on his own after the first sector into turn number 6. And burying the battery, heading into turn 7 through the S's. Can he hold it flat? Because I think he's running a higher downforce setup. Oh, you bet. Not even lifting. He must be running some good wing levels there. And now exiting sector. Misfits has joined the lobby. Quarter of a second up at it with a tiny bit of change on his own time. Well, that currently would lead in P13 still, if that was to hold true. Now coming through the 14, 15, and then 16 section. Blasting out the Peraltado, at least what remains of it on the current layout. And he stays 13 to 116, 666. Down in the detail right there. Big one's coming to the pits. Okay. Now, the interesting for Misfits, he needs to get in his car very quickly. Or his qualifying will be over before it's even started. He is. Oh, he's in. I expect we are going to see. Owen CFC18 has run after you, but I expect you're going to see it. Big What's decided to call it quits. So that's a brave call. That's a brave call. But so is Owen probably set another time again. So it's the case of, will Owen CFC18 survive? Or will Andrew Pittsmith somehow find a time? Will Lloyd Dynamo find a time? Can Misfits get out of the garage in time? Do you know one thing? He will be. He's probably going to be joined by, I'm going to expect that's Lloyd. It has to be because Big What's has retired from the session. Sure, we're going to see Andrew Pittsmith make an appearance in the next 10 seconds or so. It would be a huge risk to not go out in this position. Does he really think that Lloyd can't find just more than a 10th of the second? Does he really think Misfits can't match that time straight out of the box? Misfits is for the championship. He is working okay with that Ferrari at worst. And he's consistent. His ability to finish is, as we said, yeah, I think Andrew Pittsmith made a slight error here. I think he had to go out there. He had to go out there and get timing. Surely he's made a huge mistake here. Surely. So Salmon's out there as well on a time. As we just go with him through the Peraltado now with that Lewis Hamilton trippy, and he's invalidated. But he's safe anyway. The worst he's going to end up is P12, considering the cars are out on track behind him. So it's quite interesting. Who's going to be the one knocked out in qualifying one? Will it be Andrew Pittsmith? Will it be Lloyd? Or will it be Misfits? Time will tell. Here we go. Where do we look? I suppose we'll have to look back to one to the other because they are very close on track. As with 17 seconds to go, the Williams and the Ferrari start their last. Mercedes power kicking into the Williams. The prancing horses kicking in for the Ferrari. Here we are, into turn number 1 with Lloyd. You know one thing, he's looking a bit more on it this time. It's just looks a little bit more alive than he has done that Williams in previous runs. As we head towards the sector 1 time, it's a 27.98. He's improved by but just over 1.5 tenths. Misfits a 28.2. Okay, I think Misfits got to find more here. Going out cold. Will that have an impact? Surely it will. Being able to go out there and ban a timing immediately, that takes some skill. But it is basically 1 lap qualifying for Misfits. Can he haul himself out? But all he has to do is potentially beat Lloyd's time and, Andrew Pittsmith's. But Lloyd's finding 7 tenths so far in his time with a 56.7 after, but it's only 57.5 Misfits. This is going to be close to Misfits, I think. Lloyd's definitely going to haul himself right up there. No question about that. Where can the Williams put itself? Can it be Andrew Pittsmith? Very convincingly, 116.737. It's only 14, but that's all he needs. What about Misfits? He's only P16. You managed to get it out there. You may have a triangular helmet, but Misfits is the one casualty in qualifying one. As we see Amos Casper top the session from Amos Apple, Amos Axel, Amos Godwin. A lot of Amos here. The 4 Amos drivers tonight. Amos Strapping not here. Too busy at the pub, apparently. They have Little Gupta making the debut tonight. Fuse Demon, Robert Nice, Master Red, the Dalton 93, Super 7, Speed 3, Big Woods, Owen CFC, Laurie, who happens to be Irish, and Andrew Pittsmith make it through into qualifying 2 with Misfits being the only victim. See ya in a moment. And you join us for qualifying number 2 for the Performance Racing Formula 1 6 and 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. Turns out one of the issues that Misfits was facing is he's claiming he had 50 laps of fuel on board. That's roughly 3/4 of a full race distance. Right, look at that, Lord. Anti-free Salmon going out to get the pits at the same time. And he's not even trying to put the correct setup on. Who puts a setup on with race fuel? That's my question. He saved it with race fuel. End of the day, if it works for Misfit, I don't know. He may have inadvertently done it. I don't know. Oh, dear. And it's getting a bit warm in here in my room, so we get ditching that. And we're now going to now enjoy the battle of this Mexico City Grand Prix. So, I guess, again, it's going to be the AMS drivers who are going to be the ones setting the pace, which out the 4 is going to be the quickest. I would rule out AMS Axel pulling out a surprise. Considering the pain of losing a 100% Monaco race yesterday, considering the pain he's facing in Fangio right now. If there's one person who needs a result, I mean, many do, but in terms of the championship, the AMS Axel, he really needs one. A big struggle in the title defense so far. I do understand, but he is currently, of course, defending the championship. Each was in equal cars. But for now, going to go natural with him. Go on. Turn your device up. And it's a 15.750 for Amos Axel. Same Amos Cass and a 15.394. Amos God said a 16.393. Big one's a 16.797. Amos Apple will be the next across the line. He's actually, I think he had an invalid time there. Who's next? It's ONCFC 18 with 117.835. Bill, all the time. Tuesday with 16.181. Amos Godwin. Oh, we've already spoken about it. Dallon, 16.539. They're all coming in these times. Speedy 116.627. Robbo Snipes 116.444. I was missing a 117.249. This fantastic speed thing with a 116.627. Oh my goodness. Simple Simon 16.56. Lloyd with 16.428. It's all happening here. And that's spread. 116.398. Sorry for not being able to keep up there, but everyone went out track at the same time pretty much, and it was just like a fruit machine. But what of AMS Apple now? He's got his Lewis Hamilton helmet on, playing tribute to all the bricks. That's Sir Lewis Hamilton to me. I do apologise. A knight of this very realm. Anyway, he heads into turn number 12, into a very little clumsy stadium section, particularly in the ground effect cars that ended off the second turbo era of Formula 1, which has just obviously completed in 2025. Across line, AMS Apple goes. It's only P12 with 16.733. I said that's not everything he had to give. All tyres, and he may have made a mistake. I'm not quite sure. Anyone else giving it ham on a second lap? I think Andrew Pittsmith might be. No, he's not. That's just a quick in-lap. Anyone else giving it ham? They're all coming in. Doesn't surprise me. Tyre wear and tyre temperatures are important now. You know, MS Gas said raining Q3. People definitely getting times in knowing the weather's going to come in. If that's the case, so AMS Apple is going to have to get to those pits pretty quickly because he's currently 12th. The big victim he would be if it stayed like this with that 1:16.733. He would be a surprise elimination in this qualifying session for sure. And to show the urgency of what's going on, I think we're seeing Amos Godwin come back out again. We've only one Josh in the Racing Bulls Josh team. I think this is telling me one thing. The weather is coming, and it's coming quicker. The fact that we've seen drivers come straight out, set the time, come straight in. We saw Andrew Pittsmith relatively brisk in lap as well. Come in, set the car on, and get it straight back out there again. That suggests one thing. The rain must be nigh. AMS Axel decided that 1:57.50 will be enough. Guess what evidence we've seen so far, I highly doubt someone like Andrew Pittsmith could eliminate AMS Axel. But I have to look at the only person I can see in that bottom five usurping AMS Axel is probably AMS Apple. I think everyone else there with that, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I'm not sure they can usurp AMS Axel there. I'm not saying the 15's impossible. I just don't see it happening. But if I'm proved wrong. That's his life. That's his wonderful. And the little bit unpredictability in motorsport, and you never know what happens. That's why we come and watch. Why we come and take part. And it's why you're here watching the Performance Race of Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. Okay, AMS Godwin, the double PRF1 runner-up from Season 12 and triple champion, takes us down towards Turn 1 using all of the Red Bull. What's the name of the Red Bull Powertrains Honda power unit? Using all the power that it's got in that Racing Bull. Coming out of Turn 3. What's our first exit? How are we going to see if Emma's got him? Will he be improving on his time? He's a couple of attempts down after Sector 1. He's not tuning to a bot. He must have a bit more in the pocket. Say one thing. That's a little bit overset coming out of Turn 5. Godwin, a pad player, so I related to him on Xbox as well, which is Emma's Godwin has spun out of Turn 7. He just got a little bit too ambitious on power, or he just simply applied too much and made a simple error. Okay, let's go with Robos Nash for another reason. Then I just so happened to have stumbled upon him. What can he pull out? Another Fangio co-head in terms of the administration. A 27.9 for Sector 1. Now heading into Sector 2. Turn 6 with the double apex. This car is looking decently balanced. Flicking it very hard to turn 7, but missing the apex by a country mile, a proverbial country mile. But he can keep that Ferrari pinned through the S's out of 11 and into Turn 12. But they wouldn't have temps on himself. Lip got spot 4, by the way, on their debut. Not seen anything of them, but they're set 1:15.620. They can't be too slow if they're setting times like that in a Haas. And the squadron decided to call it quits. Now he's returned to the pits. Don't know what's happened to Big Warts. Has he chosen to call it quits? Here comes Robert Ives coming to cross the line. He goes P4, the 1:16.170. But with one driver already confirmed to be out of qualifying through the second session. Whoa, that eased the pressure on those. The correct side of the bubble. Andrew Pittsmith only a couple of attempts up. I time so far, so he could be breaking into the 1:16s, but still nowhere near. As he races in his British Grand Prix liveried McLaren, which does look quite nice, but I do prefer the original 2025 livery. As I said, that's a 1:16.892, 3.5 tenths found, but he's still only P15. Andrew Pittsmith is still on the floor of the table. And here's another side. AMS Apple He's definitely got to find something here. Whilst the weather's dry, throwing it into turn 12. I will say one thing about Amos Apple. Generally, he's probably the most talented driver here. This is me being genuine. And I think when he hones his talent, he's going to get. He's still a teenager. So is Amos Casper, to be fair. Here comes Amos Apple. Well, that's one way of digging yourself out of the bottom 5. Go quickest. The 1:15.352. Oh, it's just 18 has invalidated time. That's crucial. Considering times at a premium, the weather could be kicking in. Meanwhile, in the 12th and 11th, the Dow and Super 7 very close to each other on track. And they haul themselves out of that bottom 5 in their Mercedes-powered cars. Bell and running the standard, I suppose, McLaren livery from the start of 2025. He went a bit wide there, 13 and 14. Compromised his run through 14 and 15. And he chooses to pit. Okay. Interesting. Super 7. He's also winning that, but yeah, there's no battle there. What can Lloyd, the Irishman, produce? The half a second down after 2 seconds. I suspect this lap isn't going to go anywhere. Sorry, Robert, but we can't go the all-time. What about Master Spread? What's he got for us? In the Aston Martin, keeping it positively pinned through the S's. You can tell some are running high downforce settings. If you are running skinny wings, it's very difficult to go through those S's flat once you apply the power out of turn 7. OCFC 18 has retired from the session, leaving the pits, weirdly. As it started to rain. That's why it started to rain. What about my friend? He's chosen to pit. You know one thing? I think that's the session, everybody. I think that's the session. Oh, okay. The weather was looming. Amos Apple responded to the pressure, you have to say. He dug himself out of that bottom 5. Robert Snipes, meanwhile, still impressed by the rain. He goes sector 1:16.060. Wow. I suppose that will be the session. I can't see anyone else now wanting to come out and set a time with the drizzle starting to come down. So if it stays as it is, there are no guarantees. It will be Amos Apple who tossed the session with a clutch lap that he needed. A 1:15.352 from Amos Casper. Look up to 44. Amos Axel. Master Spread. Robert Nice. Speed Freak. Fuse Demon. Amos Godwin and Loy being your top 10. With Loy making it as it stands to qualifying 3 by, guess what, 1/1000th of a second. Just one. Separating him and Slippery Sam, and the difference between a guaranteed top 10 and having to start 11th. With the train coming out, we will see you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Qualified 3 in the rain. It's going to be fun. And just to reconfirm, it was Amos Apple who tops the session in qualifying 2. Don't go anywhere. As I was just saying, Q3 in the rain. And welcome to qualifying number 3. The track looks relatively dry, but I suspect it is slick immediate time. He still thinks slicks are the best tyre. Is everyone going to follow that? Or will someone try intermediates? But this is a key decision time. Which tyre do you pick? Are slicks the right choice? Well, anyone gamble on intermediates. Imagine if you were someone who was towards the bottom of the top 10 anyway, you may as well try. I know I would be thinking about it, intermediates, definitely for sure. But I think everyone has gone out on soft tyres. It's not that wet, to be fair. I can see why. But how much grip will they have? Little Gupta, show us how much grip. I'll tell you one thing. The lag made that a little bit inconclusive. What about Loy? So he looks a little bit skatey. Does look pleasant. I think intermediates might be quicker. Have they missed a trick? I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be an advantage for Amos Godwin. He leads the train ahead of the 2 Swedish Saubers. And then we have one of the Red Bulls. It is Fuse Demon. Then we have Master Spread. Then we have Robert Snacks. Then we have the two Hasses, a little Gupta and AMS Apple. Then we have Speed Freak. And then we have Loy at the back. AMS Godwin. A man who wants his crowns back at PRF1. Let's see, can he put in a bona fide lap? Bear in mind the track will likely be deteriorating. So surely he's got the best chance of making it a pole position. Like maybe I wasn't expecting before everything kicked off. He wasn't meant to struggle with setup in practice. Didn't quite know what to do in regards to the direction. It is a very hard track to make a good setup as he slides into turn one. Not showing how little grip there is. This does not look easy. Very, very sketchy through turn 3. You are seeing some of the very best. Show the scales 29.6 for sector 1. It just isn't gripping up. It's just, this is very tricky. As I said, you want a slick immediate in these conditions. You don't want a slick, you don't want an intermediate. You need something in between. But slick immediates are not a thing in Formula 1 currently. Loy shows into pit. Is he going to go for intermediates and try something different? Sure, that's the only reason you're coming. You think it's got to be too wet for slicks. But Amos Godwin, the car doesn't look so bad. He had to lift. They're coming out of turn 11. As we have yellows, it's one of the Salvers. Oh, a critical time as well. You cannot afford to bin it, particularly if this is the best time. Loyce is thinking of going on intermediates. Now, DRS is still enabled, but sometimes intermediates can be faster when DRS is enabled. Amos Godwin, what will it be? It'll be a 1:23, 1.8 seconds down on what we've seen in the best times. Amos Axel, 1:23, 2:23. It's Amos Axel who binned it on the road. He will set a 1:28.978. As PJ says 1:23.755. Robert says 1:23.7. Sorry, Robert says 1:12.066. We'll go to 1:23.186. What about Speed 3? It will be 1:25.141. AMS Apple, 1:30.146. He must have made a mistake there. And Loy's going to try an intermediate. So you know one thing, 8 seconds of difference between Q2 and Q3. I don't think intermediates is a silly call. Especially as our people at AMS Axel going round again. I just wonder, will some just have to try and go around again on slicks? Because again, they've got to put some sort of time. And if you're on slicks, you're committed to cause, you've got to stick with it. But is this showing the difficulties of the defending champion season? It just does not look easy. The grip on a greasy track with all the rain, but he is finding 4 seconds surprisingly on his side. He would only jump in one position. I think the track is deteriorating. It does not look easy. The Saber getting snappy of AMS Axel. This looks more like Mark Marquez's Honda during those later years in his MotoGP time with Honda. Oh my goodness, AMS Axel rally crossing it across the line and stays P7. Meanwhile, what can Lloyd do on those intermediates? This is an interesting call. I'll be back to see one of the most inspired calls to go for positive. Now, I'm very surprised someone didn't try intermediate straight away. I think there was value in trying. Not towards the bottom. Why not take a gamble? Because sometimes the game can be run about the slick may theoretically be fast for the AI, but for the player, it can actually end up being the case where you want to take an intermediate. The 30.0 for sector 1, it's not the quickest we've seen. Well, the quickest we've seen, has to be said. But will he have the grip in this middle sector? It does look okay, but I can imagine the intermediates will be overheating as they go along, because it's not that wet. But it does look a bit more rest assured as he starts to slide it. We have to see other trying to set times in intermediates. But tell you what, it does look not too bad at all. Where will Lloyd be? 1:02.659 after 2 sectors. I don't think he's going to be threatening pole. I think some are going to try intermediates because I feel like they've got to try just in case. As Lloyd tiptoes his way through 14, 15, into 16. Where can that Williams go on those intermediate tyres? A 1, 22, 23, 24. So 1:24.98. He beats Speed 3 Cademas Axel. And that's higher than he's been. Yeah, I have to say that. It's higher than he's been. Yeah, Amos Apple, he hasn't got the fuel. Amos Axel, he sure doesn't have the fuel. He's surely going to have to come in. But we're seeing Amos Apple. He has spun through the Peraltada, just trying to get to the pit lane. Drama here. I think Slicks just haven't quite got the grip. But Loy is going round again on those intermediates. I tell you what, he struggles to put the power down. It does not look easy. He's positively thrown out through turn 7, but that didn't look quick. Understeering and then oversteering everywhere. Ashley's Demon does get out of the way. Is this going to be an improvement for Loy, or has he lost time? Yeah, he's lost nearly 2/3 of a second compared to himself after 2 seconds. Is the track getting worse? Or those tyres just melted? That's the question. Master spread. What's that time? Can we see him put through? It will put him somewhere. P6. We really are a crossover point. This is quite curious. But I guess Amos Godwin's going to be the key litmus test. He's the one currently at the front. Can he find anything on his slick time on these intermediates? I'm still surprised someone didn't try intermediates towards the very start of the session, but, hindsight is a wonderful thing for these folks. And you know what? Amos Godwin's actually improving on the intermediates. Maybe I was right. Maybe you should have started on intermediates, no matter what the game was saying. Everyone is trying intermediates. It doesn't look easy for Amos Godwin. It doesn't look easy for any of them. It's like in-between condition, the slick immediate weather. But unfortunately, where the slick immediate doesn't exist, you've just got a grin and bear pain one way or the other. But it's very committed. He's stayed flat there on the exit turn line, unlike before. He's 6 times down after 2 seconds, and he's backed off. Maybe thinks he can find a bit more. Is Master Spread on another one? Yes, he is. He was positively giving it everything coming out of turn 11. Now heading into the Ferrosol. And now heading back out of it now. Through the Peraltada. I tell you one thing. Those intermediates do look like a one-lap tyre. Well, here we go. Master Spread really struggles to pull that power down. He does improve 24.324, but stays where he is. What about his Demon? 2/3 of a second down on his time. Maybe Slicks were the fastest tire after all, at the start anyway. Amos Casper's involved this time. What about Little Gupta? What did they have? Welcome to the series, by the way. You will enjoy. Fuse Demon decides to call a quits. He feels 123.755. There isn't much else to do. Now, the lag may make it difficult to give a full check of the balance, and it's nearly half a second down for Little Gupta. I suspect this lap will be given up upon. What about Amos Axel? He desperately needs a time here. The defending champion, already 99 points behind with 50 on the table for a win. 2 race wins pretty much behind already from just 4 rounds. You can't afford to lose half a race win's worth of points every time the circus comes around. He's got to find something here. Amos Axel needs one of those champions laps. He's finding a little bit on his own time in sector 1. He might just recover this as he now heads into turn number 6. But the rear end not complying at the exit of turn 5. This cannot be easy. Slicks won't fire up in these conditions. Intermediates will just overheat in these conditions. And it's a tyre temperature killer, this track. Because you just skate on time rather than have the rubber dig in as it normally would. He's 0.560 up after 2 sectors, Amos Axel, on his own time. I'm not quite sure that was a purple sector 2. I'm not, but this lap should put him somewhere a bit more respectful than he has been. B-Freak improves to 124.854. What lap can Amos Axel put together? He puts in P5, 123.881. Amos Apple, you're certain at 123.421. And Amos Axel will be going for it again, is he? No, he's on none. Has he decided that's that? I think Amos Apple decided that too. What of Amos Godwin? Can he lower the bar? through turn number 7 and 8. Almost that time on slicks, just unbeatable for him. But tell you what, he looks a lot more confident here on his intermediates than he was on those slicks. He's only a smidgen down on his time. You never know. Maybe he can raise the bar. Possibly getting that front ending, no matter what it took. Into turn number 13. Here he comes at the Peltada. Will AMS Godwin improve, or will he be sticking with that slick time? It was taking that slick time, but he pretty much matches it. It's the same time that Gupta's actually set for his best. AMS Godwin set some really good times here. Anyone else I can friend is? We've got Loy on a lap now. We'll just try Leo Gupta. He's currently on one, actually. We should probably go with Leo Gupta instead, because he's one of the threats. Emma Squadron's still on the time as well. So we'll just need to keep an eye as we look to see who can set Polo up. Emma Casper, set 123.223, and that's it. Emma Saxel, no. Robert Sykes, no. Raspread, no. Speed Freak, no. So, and Fuse Demon, of course, knows that because he decided to call it curtains. That may have been a mistake because people have found time since. Here we go. Leo Gupta on their debut. Can they make it? Pole position. He can. It's a 122.985. What a time. Emma scores invalid. And he's had a spin through turn 11. All line now. No, he's invalidated. That's it. So, ladies, gentlemen, children, and any other gender identities they may be, it is Little Gupta 44. Overtaking pole position for the performance racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. Wow. Well, that was an intriguing session qualifying. Thankfully today, there was interest all the way through. No dead rubber. And there was something always going on through that session. The point when I was struggling to keep up, I will concede. I do apologise about that. But we have managed to muddle our way through qualifying. And your pole sitter will be on debut. Leg up to 44 in the Haas. A very mixed situation there with 4 on slick, 6 on intermediates with their best times. It was leg up to took pole position with the 122.95 from AMS Godwin, AMS Casper, AMS Apple, Fuse Demon, AMS Axel, Loy, Roversize, Masterred, and Speed Freak. We will see you in a few minutes because the Mexico City Grand Prix is coming next. And here we go, the formation lap. Let's have a sneak peek at the tyres. And surprisingly, we've only got 3 on hards, that being Dalot 93 in 12th, Owens FC 18 in 13th, and Andrew P. Smith in 15th. Everyone else is on medium tyres. No one on the soft, so that doesn't greatly surprise me for this reason. All of the hards seem to have any good thermal resistance over a longer run. Around the off-strum Hermanos Rodriguez. But you see, it's with the strategies there. Medium and 2 hards. Will some try one stop? I know I was being made by people like AMS Axel earlier. Some may try it to gain track position because the delta here is quite high. Because look, if you look at the track, look where that pit lane is. You end up losing a lot in a key acceleration zone as the people, as your rivals accelerate hard, as you're limited to 80 kilometers an hour, 50 miles an hour. If we're talking in British. Oh dear. But I'm not quite sure how to call this. Leo Goodspot, he is an unknown quantity. MS Godwin, he desperately wants to add a win to the Azerbaijan Steel. MS Casper, he wants to keep that reduction that going and try and get win number 3 of the season. MS Apple, Gurley, he wants to get a win as well. But so does everyone else. Fuse Demon, with that experience, can he use it? Particularly with that Red Bull. MS Axel, defending champion, we know what he's capable of. At the end of the day, he's AMS and he's a champion of PRF1 multiple times. Loy on the debut, who knows? Robert Snipes has been reliable. Master Fred, he's always masterful. Speed Freak, he's a Speed Freak. Slippery Salmon, you never quite know what's playing. The Dark Lord, coming back, you never know. ONCFC, we'll see what they do. On Big What's Andrew Pittsmith Misfits, let's see what they can all do. As we wait for those lights. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, we have 5! And we are going for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Let's have a look at the front, guys. Leo Guts gets a decent start, but so has Amos Casper, so has Amos Godwin. I don't know, Scott, we've got someone from Amos joining Lobby. They're going 3 wide into turn 1. Who's going to beat me first? Amos Casper's gone from third to first. Unbelievable from the Swede. Nicola Gutter and Amos Godwin. Amos Saxon's already up to P5. Amos Apple is in P4. We have Lloyd in P6. Eugene had about 8 down to P7. Then we got Robert Sykes, Master Spread, Speed Freak, Misfits. We have a great start from P6, P11, but he's losing to P12. 7, 13, Miller 14, as he fights with Dartlaw towards the back. They're fighting everywhere. But Amos Casper, he is showing why he is a championship leader, a man inspired from the downfall, from retiring from the preseason race and losing his seat to this level of performance. Clearly, something has changed in Amos Casper. He is determined. He's always been quick. But something is really, really stoking embers. The Swede already has broken DRS range as we exit lap 1. But I think we have to look towards the battle for P2 because Liam Gupta is looking very vulnerable to Amos Godwin, Amos Apple, Amos Axel. Oh, it says he's got 10 seconds speed in the pit lane. He's chosen to retire already. I don't quite know why, but that is a great shame. Then we have Amos Godwin in P3 as we look on that Racing Bull. He will be disappointed to lose position on the start. So Leo Gupta. Amos Casper, though, what a start. How inspired that was from the Swedish Sauber driver. Absolutely incredible. Quality. As he's chasing a first PRF1 championship. He's won championships before as Amos Casper, I believe. But never in PRF1. Let me tell you, from personal experience, it's a good feeling. Although I'm struggling to forget how it feels because mine was in 2020. That we're going back to season 1 in the PlayStation 4 Division 1. Oh, now that shows you how long ago it was. But Leo Gutter, meanwhile, has started to catch back up to Amos Casper and is getting back towards that DRS. But will that lag be a problem? Here we go. 2 fried power cars, one with DRS, one without. One is Amos Casper, but one has a determined debut in Leo Gupta 44. Here we go with the half. Down the main track as we start lap number 3. Leo Gupta's getting close, but he's getting nowhere close enough. In the half, meanwhile, Amos Apple jinking to detract Amos Godwin and also deter Amos Axel at the same time. I'm not quite sure where to. Pretty much everyone has DRS. Look at the 0 points. As a download already has 3-second time pounds for multiple warnings. Now, it is very easy to get warnings, to get penalties for track limits here. So, don't mock any drivers that get them. Trust me. It's easily done around here. I've seen races where everyone's got them around here. Same with Circuit Jules Villeneuve. That was a Canadian Grand Prix. There's something about those North American tracks and those track limits there. Amos Casper possibly giving it some. Trying to make Leo Gupta here. He's showing a low fuel strategy. If I just have a look at that wheel, he's got his everything. And Master Spread, he's out! Master Spread, he's out! He has crashed at the exit of turn 11. I'm not quite sure what's happened. We can see just vaguely Andrew Pittsmith there and the review mirror. Now, here's an interesting thing. What do you do on tyres? Only 2 laps in, but Amos Casper decided that's enough. Leo Gupta decided that's enough. Amos Gupta decided that's enough. That's Amos Apple, Amos Axel. They really do not want to stay mediums long. If these demons in, if he wants to snice him. I'm stunned that no one's staying out. You know what? Misfits. He's going to go last to first in a few laps. We are seeing lots of, unsurprisingly, we're seeing lots of hard tyres. Double stacking. Absolute chaos. Error in the pits. Darlow, next race, Posen has he staying out. I suppose he hasn't got a choice. He's got to do it. But everyone had pretty much came in the pits far from Misfits and the Dark Lord. Even Andrew Pittsmith has come in, but he's chosen to go from hard to medium. That's a peculiar call. I'd have thought he would have stayed out starting on hards. But shows I'm very badly mistaken there. But yeah, everyone that started on mediums that wasn't Master Spread came in there, apart from Misfits. I suppose he wants his bit of track position. Who can blame him? Throwing double six in the works. The Darlong 93. Hard tyres. Makes sense. And I think that in his position, he's kind of really got no other option. Could he extend to a one stop from here? Using his safety car to save a bit on that tyre wear? I'm not quite sure about that one. But one thing's for sure, those two that stayed out have got a hugely determined gaggle behind of Amos Casper. Leo go up to 44. Amos Godwin. We have got Lloyd. Amos Casper complaining about Leo Gutter in the chat. Not sure I should really do that. But here we go. Then we got Fuse, Demon instead of Amos Axel. And Leo Gupta's retired. What's happened? Leo Gupta's retired and left. What? I'm guessing his internet. Oh dear. If he has chosen to retire, he definitely should have come into the pit lane and called it quits if he was having genuine internet issues. But Misfits has chosen to pit. He just wanted a glory lap. He's chosen to go to the hard tyres. Yeah, it turns out he may have disconnected, but the game has retired him. The game has retired him. That is very, very hard. I can't repeat what Legupta said in chat, but let's just say he isn't impressed. He doesn't believe it. Oh, that is unfortunate. But sometimes you're unlucky. Now, yeah, the internet connection was a struggle. But it was quite tricky for everyone else. Even we were struggling. And we're not even out there watching this point of view. We're just merely watching. An interesting spectator. You are those, the people watching at home, watching in the street, watching at the bus stop, watching in the pub, watching wherever you may be. And me watching and commentating back to you on this rig of mine. Safety car's in this lap, so shall we get ready for the first restart of the Forbes Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. And we have an unusually $93 may have the penalty, but he chose to stay out on those hard tyres. Kind of really boxing on strategy. When will he choose to go? Will he even fight people like Amos Casper hard? There's a lot of choices to be made. Here we go, the Peltana. The Dallas got an incredible restart. Look at that. One boy rejects on the line already, Amos Casper. But he's looking very vulnerable to Amos Godwin. And we're going to see them go side by side. Amos Casper desperate to break the toe. But that racing bull of Amos Godwin and Lloyd Williams. Oh, but not quite enough. Amos Godwin almost practically pushing Amos Casper there. Oh, we're going to fight for second place and probably the lead of the Grand Prix when everything shakes out. Is Amos Godwin going to send him? Is he going to try and take a chance? He does not. He sensibly stays there for now. He does not. But I think we've just seen Amos Axel and Amos Apple fight each other. I think that's Amos Axel making his move and Amos Apple. There they are into turn 6, going side by side. Both Amos stalwarts. But you know what? I think the Swede's got it as he makes his way up to P number 6. But he has got off the track. But he rejoins. I don't know if he got a warning or not, but that will be interesting to see what effect that will have. There's just racing everywhere. PRF1 strikes again. Look at this towards the back. Slippery Salmon looking interested on speeding, for example. And that's the fight for P9. This is crazy. This is bonkers. Can't take your eyes off this because you never know what's going to happen. Big Water's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings on their PRF1 debut. There is the Dark 3 who leads Mexico City Grand Prix. Is he going to go defense today, Amos Casper? He's not. He's choosing not to resist. He chose a few glory laps to lead, but he has now to Amos Casper, who now takes the lead of this Mexico City Grand Prix. This is race critical for Amos Godwin. He has to clear the Dark 3 immediately. And he uses his battery coming out of turn 3. Can he make his ticket to turn 4? Yes, the Dark Lord. Facilitated that, I would say. Not in a fixing kind of way, but in a fight another day kind of way. And Amos Casper has Amos Godwin to deal with. As Amos Godwin got something on these hard tires, he was struggling on the mediums and softs in practice in terms of longer runs and tire temperatures, even potentially speculating on qualifying on mediums just to try something. But he has chosen the harder selection, and he's on ours, and he is so close to Amos Casper. Oh, it's Chief Demon very close to Loy as well, and there's a bit of a train going on. There's just trains everywhere. Look at this. Train, big whoops. And it's actually going to train that Timber 700 Peacemaker and Misfits. There was contact there. I'm not quite sure what we saw, but we're going to have to go back to the front. Because look, we have Amos Godwin closing Amos Casper on the TRS. The Ferrari Pounder Sabers. Loy overtakes the Dark Lord. Can Amos Godwin take the lead? Around the outside to turn 1 is it. Going side by side into turn 1. The Amos Godwin goes inside to turn 2, which becomes the outside of turn 3. Amos Godwin concedes. But look at the cutback from Amos Godwin on the TRS, and he takes the lead the Mexico City Grand Prix. We've had 3 leaders in the space of just over a lap. Incredible! I mean, it's Amos Apple on defender Fuse Demon. Amos Axel, look at this. They go and then we got Fuse Demon Robert side by side. Oh my goodness me. Where do you look at all this? Amos Axel got the inside line to turn 7 as a Dallas right for them. Oh, Amos Apple on the outside of turn 7. Robert side tried it, but he couldn't make it with Fuse Demon. But Amos Apple, how incredible. Oh my. Amos Godwin's having the session. Invite him. That internet connection or the game again. It was the game that was causing issues for him in the last couple of weeks with disconnections. It's not Amos Godwin's luck, and he's already lost the lead to Amos Casper. They have been able to gusting for griefing to deal with AI problems that Amos Godwin's AI has caused previously, and that's giving Amos Casper the lead again. And the Darlon 93 not wishing to fight Amos Apple, lets him go, and he's going to let Axel go. Darlon 93 probably picking their fights, picking their poison, and choosing to fight the right day at the right time. Amos Godwin has rejoined. He can quickly retake the car. He might have a chance, but look at Loy. He is very close. And he's going to take it much well. Knowing Amos Godwin is going to come any minute now. And the Williams goes to P2, the Irishman. It may not have been great qualifying, but in the race, P2 on lap 9. That is really good going. But look at all this. Look at the train behind them. Wow, there's just car after car after car after car. You would never normally see this in real life because the dirty air at that altitude combined with the different coolers, simply Simon gets 3 second multiple warnings, will just make this impossible without frying the car, frying the tyres. Amos Godwin's down to P4, but he has rejoined. At least he's still got a shot. Vapix now got 3 second multiple warnings. They're all picking up penalties here. We're only quarter distance. We spent some of them behind the safety car. But now it's Loy's turn to be the one DRS. And he's got Amos Apple behind him. I'll be intrigued to see what goes on. Those wing levels will have an effect and a bearing on what we see. Amos Apple is closing on Loy. But the Brit's going to have to stay behind the Irishman as the Robert Stats. He's the next one to take the Dark Lord 93. So he's moving there. Andrew Pittsmith has retired. He's crashed before turn 1. Andrew Pittsmith is out of the Mexico City Grand Prix. We've already lost a quarter of the field. We had 16 to start with, but as quarter distance just struck, we lost a quarter of the car. I'm not seriously going to see a last man standing, are we? Now what do you do on tyres? Now what do you do? Can you get another set of hards, 26 laps to the end? The anti-survival that you've got to come in and get more tyres. We saw the Dark Lord dropping very quickly. Now, we know the Dark Lord's not necessarily the quickest driver, and he'd probably admit that to us all. But he did drop very alarmingly from the front to 8th in not very long at all. So, your good is as best with mine. Now, I think Big Woods, he's playing in the chat again. It feels Andrew Pittsmith's hit the back of him. With Big Woods having made a defensive move, now we didn't see what happened, so it's all hearsay. Amos Casper, he will stay out. Loy, he will stay out. Amos Apple will stay out. Amos Godwin will stay out. Amos Axel will stay out. Fuse Demon will stay out. Robert Sasker. Darlon 93 I suppose with starting on those original tyres, he's going to come in. What will we see him? What was he doing? Well, anyone else pick? I just think it's the Dalon 93. No one else. He's the only one staying out. Coming in, rather. He has gone to medium tyres, so I suppose he's going to try and take those mediums as long as they can take their hards, roughly the same point, and then bob another set of hards and go from there. But Dalon 93, he held himself there. In fact, he had a great safety car restart, and he did lead the first safety car restart lap. So you have to give him his odd. He's not out of place here. He did show some great pace last time out in Belgium, and now he's shown himself to be decent and competent. There is something in there. I think when Dark 93 gets into the swing of things, he could be dangerous in the future. But as for now, he will have to settle for P12 on those mediums. But he has a significant time advantage. Everyone else has got 7 laps on their tyres on their hards. So at that loss, Vic, just got 3 seconds time back to multiple warnings under a safety car. How do you manage that? I suppose it can easily happen, but it's always a bit of a how moment. All right, let's recap. We do have a race leader. It's Amos Casper. The Swede, we have the Irishman, Loy second. We have the Brit, Amos Apple in third. We have the Brit, Amos Godwin in fourth. We have the Swede, Amos Axel in fifth. We have the Brit, Hughes Deering in sixth. We have the Brit, Robert Snipes in seventh. We have, I'm not quite sure where Speed Freak is from, Breeze eighth. We have Big Works, the Brit in ninth. Super Simon, the Spaniard in 10th. Misfits, the Brit 11th. And Darlan Nice the Brit in 12th. The question is, with this race looking like it could be a race of attrition, what happens next? What happens next? Surely, they can all get to the end from here. And the Dark 93, interestingly, has gone from medium to hard. I wonder what his thinking is by going from hard to medium to hard. I wonder what he's thinking there. Maybe he has a set of softs he wants to save for that green, white, checkered finish. If there is one, you never know. That's all it will be for. And Speed Freak says he's a fellow Northerner. Oh, yeah, he's British. Thank you, Speed Freak. Fellow Northerner. Yeah, he's Northern English, means he's British. Of course. Sorry, Speed Freak. I should have known. I remember you discussed about Leeds before with me in the old chateau in the PRF1 Discord. I should know better. But now what? So it looks like everyone's probably going to have to make one more stop. Darlan 93, we know if he's on those hards, that one more stop will need to be lightly onto that set mediums. He's just lightly scrubbed. Maybe he's put a heat cycle in them. Maybe that could be the golden ticket, a little heat cycle. As they try and get some heat into the tyres, Amos Casper giving it some. I say Lawyer on his debut. He's doing impressively well. Not the great speed in qualifying, but in the race, looking the real deal. And the safety car's coming in quite late. As a nice race car trip. Here we are. Restart number 2, the Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. Where's Amos Casper going to pull the pin? He's going to be turning him all the way down towards turn number 1. When does he go? He goes now. And under power. Loy so reactive, and look at all the trade. Amos got trying to exploit. Amos Apple falling asleep. Here we go. But look at the slipstream that Lloyd's getting on Amos Casper, and that's something Amos has been able to capitalise. Rubber started inside a Fuse Demon, but it looks like, oh, Rubber, has he pulled it off? We have Slippery Simon in the back. Gary Slippery, of course. But look at Speed Freak. The Red Bull versus the horse versus the Willie behind him in big woods. Oh, look at this. That's actually Robbo and Fuse. And Fuse just manage to find P6 in the end after all of that. Amos Casper managed to break the second gap as well in the front. We will be keeping an eye on that, don't you worry. But look, there's just racing everywhere. Amos Godwin roll over Amos Apple. Almost bum drafting him on the exit turn 11. What about to turn 12? And Misfits has retired. And we've got another safety car. What's happened now? That's 5 gone already. Wow. Now what do you do? I imagine everyone's going to stay out on tyres. I don't think this is time to pit. Loy is disagreeing with me. He's coming in. Apple stays out. Godwin stays out. Axel stays out. Defuse out. Robbo's coming in. Speed Freak stays out. Big Wood stays out. Yeah, it's just... Oh, excuse me. Just Loy and Robbo are pitted. They are gambling and going to the end, it looks, potentially. As they have gone to hards. Can they do 23 laps, including some safety car laps now? Well, they treat them gently and bring them in slightly gently. This is chaos. 3 safety cars deployed in the first 13 laps. Here's the thing though, tyres, with the lack of green flag running here, will we be a situation where we run out of tyres? Will it be akin to a second series NASCAR race where, if you don't know, in NASCAR second series, you only get 5 sets of tyres for most races. And in those other races, you've got to pick and choose your moment when you want to pit. And indeed, when the safety car comes out there, do you have to stay out, take your poison? Or do you choose to have your cake and eat it, knowing you may have no cake when it matters with those late race restarts? I'm trying to get them. This might be the vibe here. Tyres or stay out. We have those NASCAR vibes coming in here. And still it's AMS Casper leading, but he now has AMS Apple behind him with Lloyd making that pit stop. AMS Squadron third, AMS Axel fourth. Somehow, the 4 AMS drivers in the race have managed to coalesce together. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's Demon, the top non-alien in P5 from Speed Freak in P6. Big Woods in P7, the Dialord in P8, Super Salmon in P9, Lion P10, Robert Sykes P11, and your times are Misfits, Andrew P-Smith, they'll go up to 44, Master Thread, and Owen CFC 18. I think there's maybe a feeling within the drivers of who's next to retire. In the same way, in the traitors, who's next to be murdered? Who's next to be banished? Who's the next traitor we're going to find? And the question here tonight is, who's going to retire next? Who's going to be taken out? Who will take themselves out? Who will lose out because of jeopardy? Because of internet issues? There's going to be a lot asked of the drivers here by themselves, to themselves, for themselves. And I don't know where to call it from here. So we have a tie splits moment. They're all in halves, but you have AMS Casper, AMS Apple, AMS Godwin, AMS Axel, Fuse Demon, Speed Freak, Big Woods, and Slippery Salmon, who have all gone, have 11 laps on their tyres. They pitted under the first safety car, beating mediums for hards. The Down naturally came in under the second safety car twice to go hard, medium, hard. It's fulfilled his obligation on compounds with 3 laps on his tyres. Now, Lion Robert Sykes pitted under this safety car. Means green flag pit stops. We haven't seen any. The question is, at this point, is will we see any green flag pit stops? Well, let's find out as we will be restarting with 21 laps to go. Here, the Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. And it's Amos Casper, the Swede, who is leading. And in the Swedish Cyber Sandwich, we have the 2 Brits of Amos Apple and Amos Godwin, P2 and P3. Amos Axel, of course, P4. Jim in P5. P6 in the Red Bulls. B Nozak. Big Woods here on his debut. P7 in the Williams. And Amos got chosen to go now. Great tax there. Keep them guessing. Keep them guess every time. But Amos Apple looks like he had a good run, but he's struggling with trying to go through the peloton. And you know one thing? He'd be looking more back towards Amos Godwin. Look at the slipstream effects. They're all starting to coalesce. Amos Apple, he could have surprise attack, could he? Maybe he had to everything he can, but look towards the back. Slippery Salmon. Already fighting hard with Loy, but Loy using that side advantage. And yeah, he's already got Slippery Salmon there. Slippery Salmon down to P10. And Robert Nice looks like he's going to be all over the Slippery Salmon, like a salmon. Amos Godwin and Amos Apple. They just seem to be fighting each other a lot these last few laps. Into turn number 6. Amos Godwin is trying to set it up out turn 5 there, but not a lot doing. Amos Casper not able to break the Amos trio that is behind him. So it's going to be an Amos quartet at the front, all towing each other along, all fighting each other hard. Same tyres, different cars. In the case of Amos Godwin, a different power unit with the Red Bull powertrain Honda behind him, rather than the Ferrari engines in those Saubers and the Haas. Speaking of the Red Bull powertrain, Honda, he's doing it for E5. Speed freaking P6 in their different livered Red Bulls. Fuse Demon, though, is closing in on the act. What do we see? Fuse Demon grab another win. Been a long time since Fuse Demon has won in PRF1. But look at this. Look at this. Amos Squadwin. He is closing on Amos Apple. But I just don't think it's close enough. But they are looking tight because, again, you wouldn't see this in real life because of how difficult it is to cool the car at altitude of over 2 kilometers. It's difficult. It's difficult. And Dirty Air is really tricky as well around here for whatever reason too. Maybe it's part of the layout, maybe part of the altitude, I don't know. Meanwhile, the other Dark Lord trying to fend off Lloyd. He gives Lloyd room to be fair, and you certainly have to. But Lloyd trying to find round the outside. That is fair. Daladassi might have left the track there. I'm not quite sure. If he did, then I think that's an illegal defence. But if he stayed on track, then that's absolutely bona fide and very well played. Very well played. So my English started to deteriorate and fail me. But we look towards the front because he's too squeezing a break in the alien category. Meanwhile, Fuse Demon, the top non-alien at the moment in P5. But he wants more than just to win non-alien class. He wants to win the thing outright. Here we go. A bit of a DRS train here for the top 5. It's maybe just dropping off, but he has got a big what's in his pocket at the moment. He's looking very much to the Dark Lord on those pressure tyres. But the strategy swings will happen. And look at Loy as well. But are we going to see it overtaken by the Williams? I think we are. I think that's Loy passing Dark Lord. As they pass Big Woods. Oh. 2 moves in one now by Loy on his team and on the Dark Lord. That is very impressively well played by Loy. Up to P7 on those fresh hards. Making it all the sunshines. Robert Stats were hoping to do the same as well. As I said, P7 has a view of it all from the back, but he's still going. Unlike 5 of his contemporaries tonight. And still, we have the AMS quartet with Fuse Demon trying to hold on to them in the Red Bull. But have those AMS quartet just got a little bit too much for Fuse? I think Fuse Demon's just got in DRS pressure. He's got 3 seconds for multiple warnings as Fuse. And that's very unfortunate. But the top 4 showing their class. Because it's only 2 non-aliens now that don't have penalties of those that have survived so far. As we're about to finish the first half of the race. And enter second as Darlord gets another 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Darlord is having an okay race there in terms of pace, but those warnings are letting him down. But look at AMS Casper. He has a lot of cars behind him. He's having to use a lot of battery there. You can save a lot of battery in that DRS. Oh, choose to attack. It's a guess, I suppose. It's up to you. As Loy's now overtook Speed Freak for P number 6. Loy could be a threat here. And I wonder what will he do on strategy? Can he bring something to play with the AMS quartet and Fuse Demon? Can he get to this train? He has the fresher tyres. He has the better car. As we've seen movement between Robert Snipes and Big Woods and the Dark Lord. I think that's the Dark Lord just slipping down the order now. Down to P10. But Dark Lord is definitely in the thick of it. Big Woods gets another warning. 1-1 to win because it's 3-second time penalty for having a multiple bunch of them. But still, it's AMS quartet. Oh, very close to each other. Following each other closely. This may not necessarily be the most realistic scene. But I'll tell you one thing. This will not be easy for any of these 5 in this raid to win. Will it be the AMS quartet or will it be Fuse Demon? But don't forget Lloyd the Irishman is starting to close in on the back of that train. Here we are, AMS Casper, the locomotive in his Sauber. With AMS Apple, AMS Godwin, AMS Axel closing in as the carriages and Fuse Demon as well. Just about heading on using the DRS to tow along. We're going to make it. Oh, AMS Apple had a look there. AMS Apple had a look there. Meanwhile, AMS Godwin possibly sliding, reminiscent of the MotoGP bike on full lead, backing into a corner. Can AMS Apple do anything here about AMS Casper? The answer will be no, he cannot for now. And he has to stay behind for a few more corners at least. But can he find a way by? And Zebra Salmon now is the last one to overtake the $1.93. Shame there for the $1.93 at the back, but he's still surviving. And he will still be looking at P11 at worst for here. It's the Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. UFC. The AMS quartet of AMS Casper, AMS Apple, AMS Godwin, AMS Axel. Refused Demon. Most experienced one here in PRF1. All in a train. What a quintet we've got. Fuse Demon used the fact he's got a Red Bull to his advantage here. But AMS Axel looks very close to AMS Godwin. And the battery games are very similar. Look at this. They're all trying to break toes and everything. Here comes AMS Apple. Can he make a move with AMS Casper? He's closing. AMS Casper had to go semi-defensive there. AMS Godwin was not quite under threat by AMS Axel. But look at this. Look at this. Can AMS Apple get the drive out of turn 3? They're both out of battery. AMS Apple is going to take the inside line of it. AMS Casper letting me have this one. No, it's Andy rounding outside. Fair play to the Swede. But look at the comeback. AMS Apple into turn 6, are we? Oh, and he got a bit skittish there. That's going to give AMS Godwin a lot of interest. Same with AMS Axel, but somehow, AMS Apple wants to keep some form and momentum going because AMS Casper is only 6 or so attempts ahead still. This is brilliant stuff to behold. And look at the view Fuse Demon's got of this. He must be enjoying reveling there. But look, that Williams and Loy is starting to close in. And bear in mind, there's no DRS for Loy, so he's having to really work to get up here. But he's making that Williams work. AMS Casper decided that's enough. He's coming in. Maybe he feels he needs some fresh tyres. AMS Apple, here he is, using DRS to his advantage. That'll allow him to hold off AMS Godwin. But look at this, Fuse Demon's closing on AMS Axel. Oh, Fuse Demon had to look. Was that a slight dummy, or did he have to put the car there to avoid an incident? We're seeing a few pit as well, because Speed Freak's pitted in too. The Dark Lord has re-overtaken Simply Salmon as well. But look at all this. It's AMS Axel, but the bug AMS Godwin into turn 4. He was using battery there to try and surprise AMS Godwin, I suspect. It didn't quite pay off. But he's reminding AMS Godwin he's there. Practically nudging him through turn 6. Now with AMS Apple's turn to lead, what will the tyre strategy be? What tyre can you put on? What tyre selection did you pick? When do you pit? What? There's a lot of questions here. AMS Casper showed him to pull the pin. He does about 9 seconds of clear track between him and Separate Salmon in P8. But AMS Apple is looking very quick. The tyres are looking a tiny bit worn now on this leading quartet. Now with AMS Casper pitting. But Loy is closing in. And they all stay out. AMS Godwin has lost DRS though. AMS Axel is going to be very interested in that. Fuse Demon as well stays with DRS as AMS Apple. Managed to find something here. Pull away from AMS Godwin. Was AMS Casper corking that bottle? That's a question that's got to be asked here. To tell you one thing, AMS Axel's getting close. He's used the DRS once. Now he's going to use the DRS again. AMS Godwin, he does not defend. AMS Axel into turn 4. AMS Godwin's going to have it around the outside though and keep the left side line to turn 5. AMS Axel doesn't quite have the traction to go for the cutback into turn 6. I wonder what Fuse Demon's point of view was. That must have been great view, but also, I'm the third car. Where do I put it? Oh, this is some really good race. This is better viewing than an actual Mexico City Grand Prix. It really is. Even if the game is simulating altitude properly, it is fun to watch. This is better than the real thing was in terms of the quality of the racing. You can't deny that, at least. As AMS Godwin now has received multiple warnings. He's the first of the aliens to fall to the penalty trap. And AMS Axel's pulled the pin. He's going to pit. So does Fuse Demon. They're both in. Now what do they do in tires? It's hard for Fuse Demon. And I suspect AMS Axel will be the same. It is. And there they go. AMS Axel just stays ahead of Fuse Demon. But Simply Summoner takes an AMS Casper though. Look at the undercut he's got. Look at that. All those 2 laps he has used to undercut. Beat Crewshaw's Big Watts has 10 seconds of speed in the pit. And he's chosen to retire. That is unfortunate. There were points on offer. I don't understand why people retire. There are points on offer here in Fangio all the way down. So long as you finish, you score. So I must admit my slight disappointment to that one. I understand sometimes it's not easy, but I do feel if you don't try, you sure as hell won't know. You got to be in it to win it, and if you choose to remove yourself, you certainly won't win. It appears that Lloyd's progress, meanwhile, has sort of stabilised at AMS Squadron. AMS Apple sort of pulling away from them both. AMS Apple's going to go around again. AMS Godwin knows that he's had enough of those sides on that racing mode, and he's going to come into the pits. What tyres will AMS Godwin go to? I'm sure it's going to be another set of hards. Because I'm sure he will have picked harder. Yeah, and you wouldn't want to take softs to the end, even super duper fresh ones. Here he comes. He's going to find AMS Casper. What about against AMS Axel and Fuse Demon? Here he comes out of the pit. He's being undercut by the Sauber, and he's being undercut by the Red Bull. AMS Godwin has lost positions, but Fuse Demon has a look at AMS Axel as well, but just a little too far away to make things work for now. The battery game is favouring Fuse Demon. Can he take his chance against AMS Axel? But he couldn't quite traction out of turn 3. That has probably cost him a good chance there. Simply Simon gets another 3 seconds for multiple warnings. AMS Casper, 5 seconds. AMS Axel. Will that tie down to make a difference those 2 laps? Can it? Could it? Will it? You're just going to have to watch and find out. And join us. It's Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. And we have a fascinating strategy game because AMS Apple is scoring around again. What's AMS Apple's strategy? Is he going to go for a softer tyre than hard? Is Lloyd planning to go to the end, maybe? The interesting question here with strategy. I think AMS Apple might be doing something different. So will Lloyd. Maybe that was a tactical decision to stay out. Robert Snipes on the same strategy as Lloyd. He's stabilising. He's only 4.5 seconds behind Lloyd. They're pre-summoning P4. And he has a Dark Lord behind him. AMS Casper's caught very quickly up to them. The pace advantage he's naturally got with that package. And of course, those new tyres. He needs to clear these 2 very quickly. This is why he's going very heavy in the battery. Even though the McLaren, as Tierra said, AMS Casper doesn't. He tried it, but he has to wait. The Dark Lord, I think, made contact there with Simply Simon. Oh, and he makes contact with AMS Casper. Ow. Round the AMS Casper goes, round turn 6. And waste no time. But that's going to cost him precious time. And who knows if Simply Simon and Dark Lord will stay up pit. Will these be cast? AMS Casper has to pass. But the other AMS folk of Axel. Who's Demon as well? Of course, with AMS Godwin. Will this be something that could cost Casper in the end? Just the way things have worked out for a strategy cycle. Meanwhile, AMS Apple is now in the pits. He's extended a long time. He's only going to have 10 laps left. What tyres are we going to see go on that Haas? Oh, here we are. This is race. He's going to mediums. He picked balance. AMS Godwin's left the session. Get him in, get him in, get him in, get him in, get him in quickly. AMS Godwin, sort your Xbox and you're into that. Whichever it is, just please sort it out. And AMS Apple, he's only just behind AMS Godwin, and he's got fresh medium tyres. That's going to be fascinating to see. And we've got that with the possibility that Lloyd could potentially start to the end. Considering AMS Apple managed to put a similar distance that Lloyd needs to make. Same with Robert Sykes. I don't think it's out of the question. They could try and go to the end. And then you've got people like AMS Casper, who has passed every salmon, by the way, whilst we're watching AMS Apple make his stop, who has now passed the ghost of AMS Godwin. AMS Godwin must be ruining the issues he's having. Oh, where do you call this? I think this is where we go from interval to leader. to see how things are shaking out on the old strategy. The Talon 3 miles out breaks himself into turn 12 somehow. Does not lose the front left. Emma Squadron has rejoined. The Talon 93. What has happened for him to master that breaks up to nearly lose the wheel. I'm surprised he's still got one, frankly. Meanwhile, Fuse Demon, he's looking to overtake MS Axel. There's only half second between him and the Sauber. Fuse Demon saving a lot of battery there. Easy figured out the potential attack into turn 4. He needs to nail everything now. But every Simon is going to provide MS Axel with some sort of slipstream that could neutralise the attack if he's even potentially somewhat. But tell you one thing, this lap car, every Simon being in the way, just in the sense of his side, he's done 24 laps on his tyres. Easy goal handing, just trying to go as long as he can. Pray for that safety car. This is now holding up AMS Axel. Now we speculate AMS Casper may be the only one who may have had the pass every Simon in the Dark Lord. You know what? That's not been the case. And this brings AMS Alba into play. On those fresher, grippier medium tyres, which are temperature prone. But if you can look after them, he's in a good stead here. AMS Axel, can he make a move here on Slippery Simon into turn 12? No, he can't. No, he can't. He'd have loved to. A speed free gets 3 seconds to multiple warnings. Look at that. Let's be looking from the front window of the Savvy. He's nudging that Mercedes. Look at Fuse Demon skulking around. Oh my goodness me. Slippery Simon going wide out of the peril tarda. And Fuse Demon buzzing apart. Oh my goodness me. Here is Evans Apple as well. Are we going to see them go 3 wide? Are we going to see them go 4 wide? 4 cars. So close. Who is going to turn into turn 1 first? It's going to be AMS Axel. Trying to fend off AMS Apple. Slippery Simon somehow managed to avoid Fuse Demon. But they're all looking vulnerable. They've both got DRS here, Axel and Apple. But AMS Apple will be the one in the Haas on those medium tyres up to P4. Now, can he make hay and get to AMS Casper, Robert Snipes, and Lloyd? Lloyd, the race leader, has been on debut, leading by 5 seconds at the moment over Robert Snipes. Both 15-lap-old Haas. They're probably going to stay out to the end now. What have they got to lose championship-wise? Really? Loyalty on a debut, nothing to lose. Robert Snipes, if he's going to have a shot at the championship, it might be worth staying out. You can't beat them on pure pace. You might have to try something different. But AMS Casper is looking quick. 7 laps to go now. 1 second lap required from AMS Casper to catch Lloyd. Well, and those tyres will level out as the tyres get older. But AMS Apple, fastest lap of the race. 1:18.116. That would have seen him just under a second away from the back of the grid. That's a quick race time on option tyres. I.e. a softer race tire, the medium. And with race fuel. That's really impressive. That's really impressive. But he's throwing Axel and Fuse Demon along now. Amos Godwin has rejoined. But he is 3 seconds behind Fuse Demon. He must be ruining these issues. So I reckon they've probably cost him here a shot at the win. But most certainly, potentially. Oh, here's one thing that's crucial. Lloyd's got 3 seconds to multiple warnings. I highly doubt he can pull this off now, because AMS Casper was just about pulling off in terms of time cap needed to be caught. And now he's all over AMS Casper. AMS Casper, meanwhile, has overtaken AMS Apple again. Hay's not being made here by AMS Apple on those medium tyres. I'm starting to see them become vulnerable. Or was this something intentional by AMS Apple? Trying to slingshot AMS Axel, but they've both got a lot of bad. So does Fuse Demon for that matter. Meanwhile, AMS Casper, our battery, trying to overtake his firepower stablemate, Robo Snipes in the Ferrari itself. Meanwhile, AMS Apple overtakes AMS Axel for P4. AMS Casper now tries to set up Robo Snipes. This is all coming to an exciting conclusion here. With 6 laps to go, AMS Casper stays behind Robo Snipes, interestingly. Stays behind. Is he going to try and save some battery? Or has Robo Snipes got something here for AMS Casper? I mean, Amos Apple and Axel are slowly closing in on Loy. But I'll tell you what, I think they're finding each other too hard to actually catch. I think they need to just somehow... So one of them needs to be the backed Piper, and the rest just need to follow, and trail in that DRS. Amos Casper's still all over Robo Snipes. But they're sort of equal on battery. They are using the same Ferrari power unit. Amos Apple getting a gap towards the leader. Down to under 10 seconds. He's only 5 seconds or so away from Amos Casper, who now desperately needs to pass Robo Snipes in case Amos Apple can really exploit those tyres. But in the traction out of the Peraltada, I think this is Amos Casper going up to P2. Can he get to that 3-second penalty range of Loy? Will the Irishman be ruined going off the track there one too many times? Because I think without that penalty, this could have been close. You never know with the penalty. But Loy's in a tricky place now. He needs it to stay green because that penalty could really, really ruin things for him. Amos Apple, though, he's only 4.5 now behind Robo Snipes. He is 5.5 behind Amos Casper. That DRS Amos Casper as he over to Robo Snipes has proven to be crucial. Amos Casper, though, is closing in on Loy. He's closing in on that 3-second barrier. And I think the net lead is 9 for Amos Casper. Have we been denied an epic finish because of Loy leaving the track? We don't know how many warnings Amos Casper's got, though. And he will be pushing those trams. He was taking a lot of curb there coming out of turn 11. So he's definitely going for it, is Amos Casper. He's got to. He's got to try and break Robo Snipes, who, by the way, I think has played an excellent side. I think Robo Snipes could be on for a podium here if all goes well. But Amos Apple, 1.5 behind the leader now. Is Loy starting to struggle with tyres? I mean, they're looking at his second rate. Even Amos Casper's are starting to look a little bit bad. Robo Snipes' tyres actually look quite good for 19 laps. Apple's tyres are struggling, but those primes of Axel and Fuse Demon are starting to cross over. Look at that ship. And here goes Amos Axel. Round the outside of Amos Apple into turn 1. And the Swede retakes Amos Apple. He's up to P4 again. I don't know where this race is going to go now. Amos Casper has now gone to that 3 seconds of Loy. A Speed Freak has overtook every Salmon for P number 8. There may be only 10 cars left. But let me tell you, there are 10 cars fighting hard. Even the Dark Lord on his own, he's still putting around in P10. He's still going now. He's still going to be good points for this current points format. And even if it was rail points, he still get one. He still get one. But look at this. Look at Loy. He's 1.7 ahead of Amos Casper. Well, he must be kicking himself around for making that mistake. One too many on regards to warnings. Because you know one thing, he would have forced Amos Casper to go for this and to go for the win. Amos Casper's probably driving a little bit more relaxed now. He doesn't need to do it on the road now. And I think I don't think Robert Snacks has enough for him. His teammate Amos Axel might. He as Amos Apple is starting to really struggle on those medium tyres. He's Demon is closing, but saying that, Amos Apple is still closing in on Loy. Those old hards must be really taking a lot of punishment now in the case of Loy and Robert Snipes. They'll be something meanwhile. 29. Made that 30 laps on hards. Both sides are not looking good. I guess he's tried to goal hand for that safety car, but with 3 laps to go, the game won't deploy one. And even if it did, how long would it come out for? Would it be end of the race anyhow? Amos Casper has now gone to the second of Loy. I'd love to have known how this would have played out. Had that penalty not been picked up by Loy. But Amos Casper still has to be wary of him. You can't do it, doesn't want to do anything too rash and silly. But that Sauber does look like it will overtake the Williams. The other Sauber is closed in on that Ferrari. Robo Snipes, great strategy call, but Axel Apple and Fuse are looking ominous. Be well, Amos Casper looks like he's going to retake the lead on the road of the Mexico City Grand Prix. Here he comes, around the outside of Loy, and with 2 to go, we have another race leader. Meanwhile, Amos Axel has overtaken Robo Snipes to P3. Can MS Axel make it a sailboat? Swedish. 1-2. Again, 3 seconds of Loy. I think with what we've seen, and even fresher sides than MS Casper, he will. MS Casper's sounding strategy perfection, it has to be said. Meanwhile, MS Apple looking very rumbled to Fuse Demon. Fuse Demon on the inside of turn 4. And the Fuse Demon has made it move. Wow. Can MS Apple curry back? Yes, he can into turn 6 on the inside. Fuse Demon gives in rim, but round the outside, Fuse will go. The extra traction of those hearts is showing. MS Apple using the battery to somehow go around the outside into turn 7. There are some Behrman Verstappen throwbacks there, seeing the Haas and a road bull fire to turn 7 there. But MS Apple is looking, I'm sure Fuse Demon's going to have him at least on the road very soon. But I suspect this is going to be MS Apple's, at least after penalties, as he's now even himself is catching Robo Snipes. Loy has now got MS Apple in his penalty window. He's also got Robert Snipes in his penalty window as well. Oh, the Irishman will be ruining. He's potentially lost a podium here. And a shot at the win. But MS Casper, it has to be said again. Pulling out Perlas. Fuse Demon does make it past MS Apple. MS Godwin has started to join the party now. With all his issues in P7, I think we need to look to penalties now. Slippery Salmon's still on those hards, by the way. He's going to go to the end on those hards. Won't stop him. You have to give Ode there. Oh, MS Godwin! I smoked the rear of MS Apple! Godwin has gone straight on there. Apple had to recover the car. And that's up to P number 6 for MS Apple. Or down, rather, because Fuse Demon. Fuse Demon did overtake him, but I tell you one thing. MS Apple's got to keep it together to try and stay in that 3 seconds of Fuse Demon. Meanwhile, we have Loy with that 3-second penalty with Robo Snipes in that win. MS Godwin's got more penalties. Oh, goodness me. It's not going right for MS Godwin tonight. MS Axel right in the back of Loy on track. But again, for the 3rd time this season, MS Casper will win in PRF1 Season 13 Fangio as he takes Mexico City Corporate. MS Axel takes 2nd on the road. Robo Snipes, P3. Loy will finish P4 eventually. MS Apple P5, Fuse Demon P6, MS Godwin P7, Speedfreak P8, Superstar P9 now. As it started to rain at the very, very, very end. If only it rained a little bit earlier, that would have made things even more interesting. The Dallo dual claim P10. He is a classified finisher as he did start the last lap. It will be 1 lap down, but that will be P10. MS Casper, 3 out of 5 so far this season. The Swede is on fire. Incredible stuff. Can anything stop MS Casper right now? If he's going to maintain a 60% win rate, it's going to be very difficult for the opposition. As we see, a Sauber, Swedish, 1-2. You don't hear that being said very often in British Run leagues anyway. I have to give all my ode to MS Casper and to MS Axel, showing that they are the creme de la creme in PRF1, showing why they are part of AMS. A for Alien, by the way, Nat. I have to commend them. As we see, the race winner was MS Casper, fast slap MS Apple, also takes for Loy. Yep. And Cleese Travis, MS Axel. And here are the results. It was MS Casper who was your race winner tonight. From MS Axel, only 3.4 seconds back from Robert Sykes. Lloyd is debuting an impressive P4 and a great strategy display from him and Robert Sykes. MS Apple P5, Fuse Demon P6, MS Squadron P7, Super 7 P8, Speed Freak P9, and the Dark Lord, having retired on the last lap through to disconnect, but he was destined for 10th anyway, but he will just have to deal with being the first car a lap down, and indeed the last. Well, that was dramatic, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Woohoo! That was a Grand Prix that delivered. Pure PRF1. And would you like to know where we are next week? Now, I don't know if I'll be here or not. I don't know what's going on in real life. But it will be the Dutch Grand Prix. Oh, a very different test to Australia, Azerbaijan, Monaco, and Belgium that we've had so far. But where we'll be, if I'm here next week, I will be here. Don't you worry about that. I am Callum Hosty. This has been the Performance Racing Formula 1 Season 13 Fangio Mexico City Grand Prix. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will see you next time. Goodbye and have a good night. Unless you're watching this as a video, then just goodbye. See you all soon. Much love.